Hey everybody, I'm back in the kitchen today, and it's a good day because we're making banana pudding. I had a lot of requests on the website. I asked folks what they wanted to see me make, and I had several people say they wanted to see how I made banana pudding. And so I'm happy to do it because number one, I love banana pudding, and number two, it's not hard to make. Now I am going to be making the custard. I'm not using an instant. There's nothing wrong with instant pudding. I'm promised that I am not above using instant pudding, but I like to make my own custard because I think it tastes better. Now, if you don't have time, I understand. You have got to live your life, and sometimes it gets crazy. And so, if you've got to make a banana pudding, then you use that instant, and you're fine. But today, I'm going to show you how to do it the long way around, just in case you ever do have time. Now, I have got my stove going here already, uh, heating up 2 cups of milk, and to that 2 cups of milk, I'm going to add a whole cup of half and half because we want it to taste good. It's going to be nice and rich and thick and creamy. Get my flame down to where I want it. And then we can talk a little bit about banana pudding. Now, for some reason, banana pudding is associated with the South. And I don't know if that just means that folks in the South have really good taste when it comes to desserts, or if people think that we grow bananas in the South. Well, this is the wrong South. We're talking South America if you want to grow bananas. But I did a little research, oddly enough, and I did find out some interesting stuff about banana pudding. It's been around for a long time, but it actually started out more along the lines of a trifle. Now, a trifle is a dessert that's made with layers of custard followed by a layer of cake or sponge, as the recipe called for, some kind of soft sponge, and that's just like sponge cake. And they layer it together, and then you serve it with either a sauce on top or you could use whipped cream, and it was a big hit back in the day. Um, I'm not sure exactly when the banana part came into play, but back in the mid 1800s, a lot of bananas were coming into the port cities down like in New Orleans and in Mobile and down in Savannah. They were seeing a lot of import of fruit from South America. And so I guess bananas were readily accessible and they don't keep for a real long time. And so I guess folks in the South just had easy early access to bananas, and so they started using them in different ways. And whoever thought up this method, banana pudding, God bless them, they're amazing because banana pudding is delightful. Now, there's a little bit of a tragedy when I talk about banana pudding because in this house, Brad don't eat banana pudding. He don't like bananas. What in the world? Can you believe that? I mean, I know there's a lot of people who don't like bananas, but I can't believe I'm married to one of them. I mean, I love banana. I love a banana milkshake. Oh my goodness. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He don't like banana pudding, so he's not going to get any of this, but it'll be all right. More for me. Actually, I'm going to be sharing this with some friends, so don't be thinking I'm going to pig out and eat this all by myself. So while this 3 cups is coming to temperature, we want to get it pretty high, but we don't want to roll and boil. So let me adjust it one more time. Now listen, y'all, you can easily scorch your milk, so don't get crazy. Just kind of keep an eye on it. I'm going to move it just a little bit if I don't kill myself in the process. And we're going to make the thickener that's going to make our custard fabulous. I better turn it down a little bit because it looks like it's almost up to temperature. My goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm just going to turn that off for now. Now in this bowl, I'm going to put egg yolks. Now I have got 3 already done for you. So let me just get this last one done. Separate the yolk from the egg, easy peasy. Now I know you can buy egg whites by themselves. I don't know that you can buy a container of yolk. I just don't think that that has been thought of. So, anyway, and I want you to see what I did. I'm a raging idiot because I put my whites in here, but that's okay because I'll just fish them out. Easy enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all we want. And then we'll just set our egg whites to the side because we don't really need them. Now, if I were making a meringue to go on top of my banana pudding, then yes, I would want to keep those egg whites. I don't really like meringue. I mean, it's okay. It's not my jam. Now, if you were to go to any kind of social event in the South, I'm talking a church social, or if you're going to go to a tailgate party, or if you're going to go to a funeral, or a wedding, or family reunion, just anything, I guarantee you there's going to be banana pudding there. And more than likely, it's going to have a big old fat thing of meringue on top. I just scrape it off because I just don't like it. I don't like the mouthfeel. The taste is fine. I just don't like the way it feels. But we're going to be doing whipped cream because I like whipped cream. So let me get going on this custard mixture. It's real simple. We just go in with a 1/2 cup of sugar to these 4 egg yolks. Boom. A little bit more, but that's okay. It's not an exact science. All right, get my whisk, and we get to whisk the foo out of it. So, here we go. I'm just going to whisk and whisk and whisk. If you want to use an electric mixer, you go right ahead. You're fine. But I can kind of get what I'm looking for by doing, a little elbow grease. It just mixes in. It gets a little lighter in color when that sugar incorporates into that egg yolk. So let me do it a little bit longer. All right. Now, this looks good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my stove back over here. I'm going to turn it back on. And looking at my temperature. I'll tell you what, this little camp stove is a beast. I love it. Alright. I know that we're just about up to temperature because it started to make a little film on top. And I bet you if I stick my finger in, oh yeah, it's nice. It's real nice. So this is just about what we're hoping to see. Now, lots of different methods. Now listen, don't be scared here. We got to temper these eggs because if you go at this liquid with these eggs, we're going to have sweetened scrambled eggs. And that's not what we want. We want to use the egg as our thickening agent for this custard. But there's a fine line to walk because we got to ease them in there so that the proteins bind with the milk solids the way we want them to. Otherwise, it's going to be awful. So let me grab my little dipper back here. And, oh yeah, it's coming along. All right, I'm going to reach in here with my little dipper. And I'm just going to start adding a little bit of egg and milk together. I'm going to stir it around. Now you see what I'm doing? I just incorporated that hot milk and cream into my eggs. And I stirred it real good because, well, that's what we're doing. We're incorporating it. So, I don't have a whole lot of room here. You'd think I'd do better at space saving here. Anyway, we're just going to trickle it in as I make a hot mess over everything. That's okay. And I'm going in for one more because I just want to make sure that I don't get these eggs scrambling. So I'm bringing them, basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing the eggs up to temperature so that when they go in to that big pot of milk, they don't get shocked. Because I guess if you were to shock them, that's when they would scramble. So we don't want that. So I think I'm to the point now that it's safe for me to go in. So now I'm just going in with my tempered eggs. And I'm stirring. And I think I have successfully tempered them, because you'd know if they weren't tempered well. There'd be all kinds of clotted pieces floating around, and it would look like a big pile of scrambled egg mess. This is looking real good. So I'm going to put this to the side. And I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of salt, because I think everything that is of the sweet nature needs just a hint of salt. Now, I'm not talking a teaspoon. I'm talking just a dash, and that is just at least a little bit. But it does make a difference, and you can tell that it's there. Now, I am also going to flavor this good old vanilla. There's nothing like vanilla custard with banana pudding. I think it calls for a tablespoon, so we're going to use a tablespoon. And y'all don't use imitation vanilla. If you use imitation vanilla, I'm coming to your house. I'm going to have a talk with you. I hate imitation vanilla. There's no need for it. I don't care if it is cheaper. It doesn't taste good. There's artificial taste to it because it is artificially made. It's man-made and it's not fit to use in any of your baked goods. So just don't do it. I mean, I understand vanilla got crazy expensive last year and the year before. I think it had something to do with the vanilla flower, whatever, an orchid of some sort. On some island, it got hit hard by weather. Anyway, I don't know where I come up with these things, but I know that it's the truth because I saw it, I think, on TV. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm going to stir this up just a little bit. And you can see that it's starting to thicken up just a bit. I did turn my heat up just another notch. Now, this is very similar to Julia Child's recipe for creme anglaise. Hers is a pourable custard that you could serve it over French toast, or you could serve it over a scone if you were having tea with the queen. Or, shoot, I guess you could just pour it over a pile of blueberries or strawberries or something, and it would be fabulous. But I want something that's going to set up a little bit more. So that's why I'm going with a different recipe. It's got 4 egg yolks. Julia's calls for 3. Mine calls for 4. So, just going to keep on stirring, stirring, stirring. And it's coming up to temp and it's looking really good. I do need to have a quick discussion with you about vanilla wafers. Now, I am not chained to name brands when it comes to most commodities. I don't care. You know, I'll buy a Walmart brand just as fast as I'll buy a house. You know, I mean, take this. Nabisco makes Nilla wafers. Well, I'm going to tell you, Nilla wafers, they're good. Nilla wafers cost almost $4 for this box. Now, I know $4 is only $4, but you can get the house brand box for like $1.25. Now, I did buy this because I am making this for a friend. His preference is the Nilla wafer brand, so I'm making him happy by using the Nilla wafer. To each his own when it comes to vanilla wafers, though. I mean, if you want to use a house brand, knock yourself out. If you want to use vanilla, go ahead. It's going to be perfect either way. Now, I prefer to make this the day ahead of whenever it's going to be needed, because I like the way the cookie soaks up the custard. And then it's just perfect. I don't like it when you've got a crunchy cookie in there with pudding on top of it. It's just not my jam. I'm very opinionated when it comes to banana pudding, in case you haven't noticed. I'm opinionated about a lot of things. But I'm also open-minded to a lot of things. So if you ever see me doing something and you question it, or you think you have a better method, give me a shout. I'm all ears. I'm always looking for new methods. Unless it's for something like, you know what I'm going to say, sugar and cornbread. We don't do it. I'm not going to do it. Alright. It seems like it's taking a long time to come back up to temperature. But that's okay. But you do need to stir. Stir, stir, stir. Because you don't want scorch. You don't want it to be sticking to the bottom. It'd just be terrible if you messed up your custard at this stage. It smells really good too. That vanilla, it just blooms when it hits hot. I love it. Oh, now look, it's boiling. Now, we don't really want a rolling boil, so I have cut it way down. I'm satisfied that these eggs have come up at least well past 160, because, I mean, it was boiling, hello. Because we don't want to eat raw eggs. But I know that this is just about where we want it. I'm going to cut this off. Turn my heat off. And it does look kind of loose, but there's a method, y'all. When I add it to my cookie mixture, I want it warm, because warm seems to soak in better. And then I'm going to put it in all in the refrigerator anyway, and it's going to keep overnight. And then it's going to be wonderful. So, there is a method. Trust me. I want to take it out of this, though, because it is bloody hot. So, let me grab a bowl. Got my bowl. So, here goes. Going in with this lovely hot custard. Just pouring it in just like that. Stir it around. Put my pan over here. And now I'm going to set this to the side because it needs to cool off. And that gives us an opportunity to make the whipped cream. I love whipped cream. And I know there's some of you who think I don't know how to make whipped cream because I like to use the in the can. I can't help it. I like it. I just like the taste of it. I like the texture of it. And it's convenient and you don't have to go to so much trouble. But anyway, I'm going to get my cream out here. This is just heavy whipping cream. And you're going to laugh. I've had it sitting on the table next to me with ice water in the bottom of my bowl. And I had my whipped cream sitting down in it because I was just killing two birds with one stone. I was keeping my whipping cream cold because, well, you need to keep it cold. And I was getting my bowl cold because whipped cream builds beautifully if you store it out with a real cold bowl. So I'm going to pour this water off. I'm going to grab me a little towel. Drop that off. Grab my towel. I'm going to take out all the moisture from this bowl. And then we're going in with the whipping cream. Now, here's my bowl. I need 2 full cups of whipping cream. So, gotta open up the tab. Here we go. It's just dairy. More dairy. You know how I love dairy. Alright, so here we go. 2 full cups of heavy whipping cream. Now, we want our whipping cream to be slightly sweet. We're not looking for it to give you a toothache sweet. So, we're going to add just a little bit of powdered sugar. Now, you could make it with granulated, but I find that every time I make it with granulated sugar, you can just taste the little gritty pieces. And that's no fun. So I'm going to take my little sifter, going in with my measuring cup, and this is about half a cup of just white granulated sugar. I mean, it's not granulated, this is powder sugar. Yeah, confectioner sugar. Now I'm just going to get her all in here. My nifty little grandma sifter gets the job done. Yep, gets everything out, all those little pieces. Okay, got that done. I might need my cup again. So put my lid back on my sugar. Now I'm gonna get my mixer. Now, you could use the whisk attachment if you want to, but this is such a powerful little mixer that it'll just beat the fool out of this in no time. So I knew that I don't really need to use my other attachment. I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla. At this point, it called for a teaspoon, so I'm just going to go, it looks like about a teaspoon to me. It's getting nice and frothy. There we go, I'm going up. Now, it pops around a lot. But that's okay. Now, you gotta be careful making whipped cream, because if you beat it too long, you're gonna end up with a big bowl of butter. You don't want butter, you want whipped cream. And it doesn't take that long, especially on high. This is not going to form what we call stiff peaks, like what you would get from beating egg whites. But it's real nice. This is what we call perfect. You can dollop it on top of just about anything. Just pop. Of course, we have to taste it, just to make sure we got enough sugar. That'll do. That'll do just fine. So, put my spoon down. I can set this to the side. I might have to beat it a little bit more before we start putting our business together. So let me set this to the side, and then we can start on the other parts of this magical creation called banana pudding. Clean my board here a little bit, because I get a little crazy. I can't help it, I get excited. So, I have got a paper bag here. And in case you wonder why I've got a paper bag, because my bananas are in it. The bananas that I purchased were more ripe than I preferred. And so I knew that I needed help if I wanted them to taste good. So I took 2 apples. And I stuck the apples in the bag overnight with these bananas. Apples are a fruit that emit a lot of ethylene or ethyl alcohol or something. Ethylene, I think is the word. Anyway, that ripens bananas. I guess they soak it in or something. Anyway, it's science. Again, science in the kitchen. So I just go with it. It's supposed to work, and I do believe that these bananas, well, these turn brown, and they are a little bit softer than they were when I put them in my bag. So maybe it's winter, banana dinner. Who knows? I'm going to get my cutting board here, and we're going to cut some bananas. Now, when it comes to a quantity or amount that you're putting in this, it really is about preference. If you want this banana pudding just chock full of bananas, well then you're going to want to use all 6 of these bananas. If you just want, you know, normal banana, then you would, you know, use 4 or use 3. It's just really up to you. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how many you have to use. I'm going to use probably 5 of these bananas because I like them and my friend likes them. And what's the point? Making banana pudding, there better be bananas in it, right? I'm still having trouble thinking that Bradley does not like bananas. I think it's crazy. Anyway, I might have to peel this other one too because I have this thing about the brown part of banana. I don't like brown banana. Ew. So I just pull that off. Anyway, we're going to cut this to see how much we end up with. I think we might have enough here. Grab my trusty knife. And then you cut them the way you want to. If you want to cut them long ways, that's fine. Personally, I just give them a nice little cut like that. I try to be consistent with the width. But again, it's not brain science or brain surgery or just science. Yeah, no. It's just cutting a banana. I would suggest you cut them a little on the thinner side because they're easier to, well, they're easier to chew. I'm not kidding, they're just easier to chew. Yeah, and there's another brown piece. Ooh, don't like him. Finish cutting these. And then I'll just snip this little feller up. I used to be amazed my mama could stand there and she could just cut bananas just fast. Boom, 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 boom. Not me. I'm methodical. I'll get her done eventually, but I'm not fast. So, here's our bananas. I'm going to save him. I might need him, I might not. We'll just set him to the side. Alright. So now, I've got my vanilla wafers and my Nilla wafers because I've got a mixture of both of them. Gonna get my pretty little bowl. And now we just start building because it's a layered dessert. There's layers of cookie, there's layers of pudding, followed by layers of the whipped cream. And I'm not lying. This pudding is still smoking hot. And I'm gonna wait a little while because, well, I don't want it to totally kill my whipped cream. So we'll be back in a few minutes when this has cooled down a little bit. Hey, we're back. And I have to confess. So, when I took that custard out of the pan earlier, I noticed that it wasn't quite as thick as I was looking for. And I didn't even think that as it cooled down it would get thick enough. So, I went ahead and reheated it, and then I added a little something to it. I didn't want to, but I didn't want to waste it. So I took a half a cup of milk and about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I mixed them together real well, and I brought this back up to a low simmer. Then I added that thickening agent, and then I just whisked and whisked and whisked, and it did come up to a lovely consistency. And this has been cooling down for a little bit now, and this is just right, y'all. See, it clings to that utensil. It makes a coat. See, watch. You know it's right when you can drag your finger through it like that, and you get to taste it too. So anyway, we're ready to start building this lovely banana pudding. Now, because I'm a nice wife, I'm going to make a little plain one for Brad. Just because. Anyway, here we go. I start out with cookies on the bottom. And I don't do a show of making it pretty because pretty is as pretty does, Mrs. Gump. I just throw a bunch in the bottom and cover the bottom pretty good. I mean, you don't want them doubled up on top of each other. But if you can just kind of spread them out a little bit and get a nice little coat going. Now you can probably see that. I've just got the bottom completely covered. And then I'm going in with a layer of pudding. Might as well go ahead and put a few in Brad's bowl too, because his will be easy. So, I'm going to go ahead and put a little covering on his. There we go. Now here we go. We're just going in. I'm pouring my custard on top of these cookies. And I'm giving everybody a good little coat, a little drizzle. Putting that down. Then I'm going in with bananas. Again, I just kind of drop them in. You do what you do. You just want to dump them, spread them, that's good. If not, then you can just go in a little at a time like this. Because it's all going to taste good. Right? Boy, it sure smells good. I ain't kidding. And then we repeat the process. So now I'm going back in with more cookie. I'm just going to dump them in. Yeah, I'm just going to put that there. Spread them out a little. And see, I don't care if all that little crumble pieces are in there. That's preferable because that's just going to soak up the custard and be that much more wonderful. So I think it's a good idea. Now, while I've got this base down of these cookies, let me just chunk in a few more. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Now, I'm going in with a layer of the whipped cream. Now, I didn't put a layer on the bottom just because you don't need that much of the whipped cream. You want it, but you don't need as much. So on top of these cookies, here I go in with just a layer of my whipped cream. Put one more spoon in here. And I'm just spreading it out. Well, it's no wonder this is so popular as a dessert. It's fargin' awesome. And I don't know, this particular batch of bananas, they smell so good. Usually a banana doesn't smell like a whole lot of anything, but boy, these are fragrant bananas. Anyway, well, I guess I should put a little bit on top of Brad so I don't run out. And that's about all he's going to get. He's going to get a couple more cookies on top. But look at that. That's love in a bowl. I love you, Brad. Here's your dessert. Anyway, we'll stick that to the side and keep on building this one. Now, I'm going back in with a few more cookies. You don't have to cover the whole thing if you don't want to. Just a nice little layer. Boom, boom, boom. See, it's just building. Yeah, then we're going back in with more of this. Look. And I know this stuff is looking runny, but it's going to set up beautifully when it gets nice and cold because it's still the least bit warm. And it's going to be mighty fine. Mighty, mighty, mighty fine. Take that there. Spread it out just a little bit more. Alright, now I get to lick the spoon. Because it's my kitchen. Okay, more bananas. Banana, yummy. And it is a lot quicker if you just use instant pudding. I ain't gonna lie. It's just the sense of satisfaction of being able to make one from scratch. Your granny would be proud. It ain't something that you have to do every time. But you can keep it in your bag of tricks and pull it out just to impress folks that, yes, I did make that banana pudding and I made it from scratch. People, they like stuff like that. So, going back in with my layer of whipped cream. Boom. And I'm going to spread it around a little bit. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because I want to be able to see a few of my bananas. So there we go. Just do a little donut. And I get to lick it again. Now more cookies. Now you can be as decorative or as whatever. Just go in. This just kind of lets folks know what they're in for. When they see this, they're like, ooh, that's a banana pudding. And it's going to be so good tomorrow after it has sat in the refrigerator. And I'll be nice. I will set it in the refrigerator. And then tomorrow, I will take a photograph of it. And it'll be at the end of the video. So you can see how beautiful it serves up. I promise I'll do that. Okay. Now you see what I've got here? Now, if you wanted to, you could crumble up some. Just kind of crush them like this and give it a little crumb coat. It's not necessary, but look at that. And you just get a few little crumbles on top. And y'all, this is all she wrote. Banana Pudding 101. Ta-da! If you take that to any potluck, a funeral, family reunion, church on Sunday, you're going to be popular because it's just yummy goodness in a big fat bowl. That's all I got to say about that. It's beautiful and it's a crowd pleaser. So listen, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I know it's kind of all over the place, but building that custard, it's work, but it's worth it. I promise it's worth it. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. It does help so much. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you hate the video, I'm sorry. But you can also come visit me over at jamieteachmetocook.com. Everything that I have videoed in the past can all be found there. Plus some things that I'm not exactly filming, but I am doing other recipes just through snapshots and things like that that I'm putting together. And all that is over at the website. And I would love to have you visit. Sometimes you just don't have time to watch a video, and I understand that. So if you just want to pop over to jamieteachmetocook.com and print out the recipe, more power to you, brother and sister. More power to you. So with that said, I'll see y'all another day. Bye, y'all.